Masechet Nazir, Perek Gimel, Mishnah Hey, 5th Mishnah, 3rd chapter, Masechet Nazir. Says the Mishnah, we learned before that if a person becomes tameh in the middle of his Nezirut, according to the Tana Kama, let's go back to Mishnah Gimel, Nitma Yom Shloshim Soter Takol, meaning we understand that if you become tameh in the middle, according to the Tana Kama, it takes back all of his Nezirut. Same thing is true. Okay, Nitma Yom Mea Soter Takol. That was Mishnah Daled. Mishnah Hey, what happens if you're in a place where there's no chalot? You can't actually become a Nazir. Misha Nazar, v'hu bebeit hakvarot. If a person who Nazar takes upon himself an oath of Nezirut, but he's in a cemetery. So in the cemetery is a place of makom tum'ah, where we're going to see that there's a problem with it. Afilu hayasham shaloshim yom. Even if he's there for 30 days, ein olim lo min haminyan ve'eno mevi korban tum'ah. It doesn't count, and he also doesn't bring a korban tum'ah. Meaning, he becomes a Nazir, but his Nazir clock of the 30 days doesn't start until ein olim min haminyan. It doesn't count for the count until he leaves the Beit HaKfar, until he leaves the cemetery, because he's in a makom tum'ah. So he has to go out of the makom tum'ah in order for the Nazirut to start. But also, ve'eno mevi korban tum'ah, and he also doesn't bring a korban tum'ah. Okay, why? But yatsa. Let's say he went out of the cemetery. V'nichnas, and he goes back in. Olim lo min haminyan. Then the days that he was out of the cemetery do count. Umevi korban tum'ah. And now he does bring a korban tum'ah. So this is a problem. This commentary is a problem. This second line is a problem, because why before if he became a Nazir, does he not bring a korban tum'ah? But then he goes back to the cemetery, he does bring a korban tum'ah. So the Gemara has to explain this. The Bartanura says the following. Ha matnitin mifarsha b'gemara hachi. The Gemara explains this Mishnah this way. So the problem is, Yatsa mi beit hakvarot. So he goes out of the cemetery, V'hizah shlishi urvi'i, and then hizah means he sprays upon himself the spray of the para aduma on the 3rd day. And the 7th day means he does the 7-day para aduma process. V'taval v'ta'ar mitumato, and taval, he goes to the mikvah, becomes tahor. V'tchilim not yemen neziruto. He was in the cemetery, he says, I want to become a Nazir. He leaves the cemetery, he goes and becomes tahor, spends 7 days, and then starts counting. Even though he goes back into the cemetery, the days that he counts after he became tahor, those days do count. Go back to our handy dandy chart. Okay, on day 1, he's in the cemetery. So just for our purposes, and he lives in the cemetery. God only knows why he would do this, but he stays in the cemetery for 4 days, and then he leaves the cemetery. So then this would be day 1, this would be day 2, this would be day 3, and then on this day he goes back into the cemetery. So now he has to wait another 7 days, count 7 days, and then this day would be that he does the para aduma thing. He has to do tuma and tara, right, including this day, 7 days, and then this is day 4, day 5, etc., etc. Okay, so the cemetery days don't count, but these 3 days do count. That's what the Gemara says. But what do you do now with the problem? Why before did he not bring korban tumah, and now mevi korban tumah? The reason, so the Gemara says the following. Okay, v'av al pi shechazav v'nichnas beit hakvarot. In this case, even though he goes back into the cemetery, tumat beit hakvarot. The tumah of a cemetery, okay, does not contradict the counting of the days. Why? So we're going to learn in the beginning of chapter 7 that there are 12 tum'ot that make a Nazir tameh, and we said, wait 1 second, that stops the clock and starts you over, and you have to count the whole thing. Yes. It's true. If you touch a dead body, which is one of them, and there's 11 others or whatever, certain kinds of tumah, then that stops the Nezirut, and you start at 0. Okay? You would start 1, 2, 3. If you touch a dead body on that day, then you start at 0, and that would be 1. But in this case, he didn't touch a dead body. He went into the cemetery. That's cemetery. This color is cemetery. Cemetery is not a tumah that makes you restart the clock. Only one of those 12. And therefore, you can continue counting then why does the Mishnah say umevi korban tuma? So the Gemara explains you bring a korban tuma not if you go back to the cemetery, rather v'hadika amar tu umevi korban tuma. What it said, you bring a korban tuma. Hachika amar. This is what it means. Im nitma shuv be'achad min hatumot shanizim megalech. It becomes tummy with one of the tumot of the Nazir. Then maybe korban tuma bisoter. You bring korban tuma and you cancel the Nezirut and you have to start over. Okay, the Mishnah continues. Rabbi Eliezer Omer, lo bo bayom. Rabbi Eliezer says, lo bo bayom. Not on that day. Shne'amar, as it says, v'hayamim harishonim yiplu. V'hayamim harishonim, the first day shall fall, ad shiulo yamim rishonim. What is Rabbi Eliezer talking about? Let's go back to the Bartanura. Rabbi Eliezer says, Kolomer, im bo bayom shetaval v'tahar. Bo bayom nitma me'achat min hatumot shad nazir megalech. Let's go back to our chart. So in the chart, so we said that he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and then he starts counting 1, 2, 3 over here. So let's reset this whole thing. We'll delete that, and we'll reset it and make the whole thing white again. We'll reset all of this. Let's reset that here. Okay, he didn't become tummy at all. He said this is the first day. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then he starts counting 1. And then on the second day, or on the first day, that's 1. And on that day, he becomes really tamei. He becomes tamei mate. So now, does it start everything over? Rabbi Eliezer says, no. Not on that day. Eino soter oto hayom dichtiv, because it says, v'hayamim harishonim yiplu. If he becomes tamei, the first days, plural, will fall off. Ena tuma soteret. Tuma doesn't stop. Ad shiulo shnei yamim shel Nezirut minuyim. Until you have at least 2 days. It's the same thing as about a Nazir who starts on day 1 and then becomes tummy on day 1. So it doesn't matter if he was in a cemetery, then came out. Actually, this would never happen because if he came out, he wouldn't start counting these days. Rather, what would happen is he would count. Let's say he came out of the cemetery. You count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then he would start day 1 here. Okay, whatever. You get the point. If it's on the first day, Rabbi Eliezer says it doesn't count until he has at least 2 days. And then if it becomes Talmud, it cancels everything out. Otherwise, you continue to count. Okay? V'hu hadin v'nezir be'al mash'ena tumas noteret oto hayom ela mashlim ala minyan neziruto. If you have 1 day, then you can continue counting after you became tamei. V'alacha ke Rabbi Eliezer. And that minor point, we pass them like Rabbi Eliezer. We'll stop here. And as we always do, dedicate our learning to the memory of my father, Harab Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Have a great day.